with Hillary 2024. Believe it or not, I can't make this up. I wish I was, but I'm not. Now, I want to give a quick shout out to Case Study QB here for this clip. Now, this was on Fox News, and there's also an article about this that I want to share as well. But believe it or not, she's actually considering doing this. And this time around, even if it means challenging someone like Joe Biden. Let's take a look.
Hillary, a week before, said Americans do not believe in open borders. And these are all signals that she's going to be the moderate candidate for president. She's going to say after the election, see, the left cost us the House and the Senate. And if we stay with the left-wing candidate in 24, we're going to lose the White House. And I'm the only one who will tack to the center and give us a chance at victory.
Let's dissect this. So this is coming from Dick Morris. He's a former Bill Clinton aide. Listen to this. Hillary a week before, said Americans do not believe in open borders. Okay, let's start with that piece there. I don't remember Joe Biden being in favor of open borders. I will say that. We have heard people like Kamala Harris say that the border is secure, even though we know the border is not secure. People are still making their way through. So I think it's really interesting that this is the piece that she's going to try to work with, because I will say I don't remember Joe Biden or anyone from the Biden administration claiming that they are for open borders. In fact, they have said the opposite, that they're not for it, but we do need to find a pathway, a faster pathway for citizenship for people in this country. So that's that. They've also chosen to add on to Trump's border wall. The Biden administration has been adding on to that wall. So if this is the lane that Hillary wants to run with, I don't think this is going to work for her. But here we are. Now, it goes on to say these are all signals that she is going to be the moderate candidate for president. She's going to say after the election, see, the left cost us the House and the Senate. If we stay with a left-wing candidate in 2024, we are going to lose the White House. I'm the only one who will tack the center and give us a chance at victory. Didn't she already try this? In 2016, that was a moderate campaign that Hillary Clinton had. In fact, her running mate was anti-abortion. She already ran as a moderate for president, and she lost. She lost to someone who was not a politician. She lost to someone who took the opposite lane and decided to drain the swamp in DC. The person who ran the populist campaign is the one who won. But yet Hillary Clinton still believes that running on a moderate campaign is going to help you win the White House after she has already failed at this before. Let's go back into the video.
So Newt, essentially what he's suggesting is, Joe Biden's not going to run for re-election in 2024. Hillary's going to come up and she's going to go, look, I'm the only moderate. You don't want Bernie again. You don't want Gavin Newsom. I'm your savior.
Let's talk about that piece there towards the end when he starts to name names. Let's touch on this for a second.
For re-election in 2024, Hillary's going to come up and she's going to go, look, I'm the only moderate. You don't want Bernie again. You don't want Gavin Newsom. I'm your savior.
I wouldn't consider Gavin Newsom to be a leftist, but that's just me. So just want to throw that one out there. And in reference to the Bernie Sanders remark, I agree. I agree. He did this twice in a row. Every time he lost, he told us to just go ahead and vote for the moderate candidate. And he's not really going to be the one to push back against the Democrat establishment. He's not going to. So I agree with that. No, Bernie, don't run again. You had your time twice in a row and you flipped on us in the end. Gavin Newsom, I do not consider to be a leftist or progressive, whatever they're trying to paint him out to be. So it was interesting that they mentioned him. But something else that I want to talk about in reference to this possible run. Now, Hillary is claiming that we could lose the House and the Senate because of the policies that have been suggested or mentioned by progressives that are in DC. What they're failing to mention here is that when you look at the policies, not the candidate, when you look at the policies, the majority of Americans want health care for everyone in this country. You could tell this just by looking at the exit polls. So this is something to keep in mind. And I think that obviously they're not going to mention that on Fox News. But to be honest with you, they're not really mentioning that on CNN or MSNBC either. So Hillary Clinton is actually going to try to do the same thing that she did in 2016 and hope for different results. And this would be her third time running for president. I guess third time's the charm, right? Just like Joe Biden. Now let's go ahead and get into this article, because there was an article by the New York Post that breaks this down a little bit further. So let's go ahead and share that. Ex-Clinton advisor Hillary setting up a 2024 presidential bid with open borders critique of Biden. And I told you, I think that this is going to backfire because they've never come out and said that. They've actually said the opposite, that they were adding on to Trump's border wall. So let's go ahead and go further into this article here. I'm going to make this a little bit larger for the people. Oh, no, I'm not. We'll leave it like that. Here we go. Hillary Clinton is dusting off her husband's playbook by criticizing Biden's open borders to put herself in place to mount a 2024 presidential run. You guys, I can't make this up. Now, this is coming from veteran political consultant Dick Morris. Morris, a former aide to President Bill Clinton, said Hillary is setting herself up to enter the race as a moderate choice for Democrats in 2 years for what would be her third shot at the White House. I see more and more signs that Hillary is going to run. Now, he said this to WABC 770 AM radio show in an interview that aired on Sunday, noting that she has been remarking that Americans do not believe in open borders. These are all signals. Whoopsie, I don't know what happened there. These are all signals that she is going to be the moderate candidate for president. She's going to say after the election, see, the left cost us the House and the Senate. If we stay with the left-wing candidate in 2024, we're going to lose the White House. I'm the only one who will tack to the center and give us a chance at victory. Yeah, she's the only one. Okay. Morris said he's aware of the strategy she's employing because it's the strategy I designed for Bill Clinton in 1992 when he won the Democratic nomination. Now, I have to interject here for just a second. I think what Morris needs to understand is that the country is in a different spot now than it was in 1992. In 1992, we haven't had 9/11 yet. In 1992, we did not have the housing crisis of 2008. There were other things economically that had not happened at that time. Economically, the country was in an okay spot. Now you are in a different time. We didn't have a pandemic that caused some states to shut down in this country. So this is a different time. And this is why I think some of these political strategists that believe they can use this same type of tactic or policy that they used 20 years ago and still try that same strategy right now, I don't think they've woken up to the fact how much the country has changed, how much the politics of people in this country has changed. The fact that you have a lot more younger people and young energy that geared up behind a Bernie Sanders campaign and were really, really excited about these progressive policies. The fact that people are fighting for a $15 minimum wage, the fact that people are asking for universal health care. People, the needs of the people have changed. So running this same moderate campaign, which Hillary already ran on in 2016, I don't think that is going to allow Hillary Clinton to win. But I will say this, you know what? Go ahead and let her run so she can lose again. Go ahead and let her run so she can lose again. Who will she blame this time? Is it going to be Bernie Sanders' fault again? Who will be to blame? Is she going to call people deplorables for not voting for her? Is she going to call people misogynistic for not voting for her? Is she going to try to use those same excuses again? She probably will. Let her go ahead and run and let her lose. That's what I say. Hillary is dusting off Bill's playbook that I wrote for him and applying it herself this year. Look at this woman. Look at her. So desperate, so eager. Make me president, please. It goes on to say the former Secretary of State and Senator from New York during an interview with MSNBC last month called out Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for flying migrants to Texas to Martha's Vineyard, alleging the Republican was engaging in human trafficking. So many other Americans, I believe, still the majority of Americans, are good-hearted and generous when people end up on their doorstep in need. They're going to respond. They'll feed them and house them. And the kids in the AP Spanish class that we try to celebrate at the Clinton Global Initiative, she said on MSNBC, adding, nobody wants open borders who has any idea of how the government and countries work. Morris was building on comments he made to Kesheev on last week's show when he predicted the Democrats will ditch President Biden in favor of Clinton over fears of more far-left candidate could end up nominated. Let's highlight this part right here. I told you tonight's show has a theme. The Democratic Party fear of more far-left candidates. Now, this opens up that question about progressives running through the Democratic Party. No. The party itself is telling you, we don't want you here. They've shown this in numerous ways. We're going to get into that in a little bit later tonight. So at this point, it is better, I would argue, for people running on those progressive policies to leave this duopoly and start something anew. They don't want you there. They're trying everything they can to push you out. So this is him telling you, they're letting you know right now, the Democratic Party does not want far left candidates. They don't want them. It's like trying to go to someone's birthday party that you were not invited to, but just show up anyway. It's like that. Yeah, they'll let you come in, maybe. Will they let you have a seat at the table? I don't know. Let's go on. So that's Dick Morris, this guy here. All right. And now there's Hillary. God knows. We're going to go into this portion here where it says once Biden pulls out, the polling will show that Democrats are leaning towards some crazy radical like Gavin Newsom. Do you see what's happening here? They're even calling Gavin Newsom radical. Okay. Or Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, maybe even AOC herself, referring to progressive lightning rod AOC of New York. That's going to drive the Democratic Party leaders to go to Hillary. How'd that work out in 2016? Bernie Sanders ran in 2016. Where was all that? How come Hillary lost? How come she lost? She doesn't speak for working class people. She ignores the pain and suffering that a lot of poor people have gone through in this country. Keep in mind, 2016 was a different time as well. We didn't have this pandemic. You have to keep that in mind. People's lives have changed. I don't understand. I don't understand what they're going for here. I really don't. That's not, that's going to drive Democratic Party leaders to go to Hillary. Hey, look, please run again. We need you to save us from the crazy left. Do you see the names? The crazy left. This is why I tell you, when it comes to progressives or leftists, neither Republican Party or the Democratic Party want them. Neither one of them want them. This is why they should start their own party. You see what I'm saying? Start a party for working class people. They don't want you there. It's got to be a mess. Got to be a mess. Well, they look particularly happy in this picture. Oh my God. And here, this piece here is important. Clinton ran in 2008, but lost the nomination to Barack Obama. She lost the 2016 presidential election to Donald Trump. Now, one can see how she could have easily lost to Barack Obama. You have to understand. I want to look at that as an example. Because when Barack Obama ran, we're not talking about what he ended up doing as president, but when he ran on more of a sort of progressive message. He wanted health care for everybody. Remember that? Remember Barack Obama said, yes, we can. Remember he said one of the first things that he was going to do is codify Roe v. Wade into law. Remember that? Remember he said it's time for a change. This is why so many young people came out to vote for Barack Obama. And till this day, he still had the African-American vote. He still holds the record for that. Obviously, he's African-American, but still, do you see the difference? So when people say if you run on those progressive policies, you can't win, people need to remember Barack Obama ran on some of those messages. He wasn't as bold about it as a Bernie Sanders, but he was different than the Hillary Clinton and the other candidates that ran in 08. He was the one that stood out because he had a different message. Then she went on to lose to Donald Trump. Donald Trump ran on a populist message, drain the swamp. He started naming names, called people like Ted Cruz, Lion Ted. And they still don't get it. Or maybe they do, but they don't want you to know that they get it. They're still trying to tell you that the path forward is for the moderate, that that's what the American people want. But if that's what the American people want, then why did Hillary lose every time? Think about that. Think about that. And I'm not here to praise Donald Trump by any means necessary, but you got to ask yourself, what was it that made people go towards Donald Trump more so than Hillary Clinton? I'm going to go to some of the comments here. Meow. Sabby Sabs, I'm from California. Gavin Newsom is definitely not a leftist. It's not just you. I didn't think so. I didn't think he was. You know, Rick, Hillary was a Goldwater girl. Just go back Republican already and run with Liz Cheney as a running mate. Ouch. That's a slap in the face if I've ever seen one. Thank you for the super chat. The Traveler. She'll buy the DNC out again. I can see that as well. I can see that happening. Thank you for the super chat, The Traveler. Cori Bush was on The View today, and she then dodged the question of if Biden would run again in 2024. She was talking about he's qualified. Do you see the problem with these progressives that went in? Do you see the problem? What happened to pushing back against the corporate Democrats? What happened to taking back or taking over the Democratic Party? You can't even answer a question like that. They're weak. And she's over there right now. I saw this on Twitter. She's celebrating her book. I told you, what did I tell you they get within 5 years? They get a book deal. They get speaking engagements, paid speaking engagements. Just ride it out for 5 years. They're not thinking about us. Brandy, don't forget when they tried to run Gavin Newsom, what him and the California Dems did to CalCare. They refused to even vote on it. That's right. That's probably one of the best examples that people can point to when it comes to big money coming in and stopping progress, because in California, they had the votes and they decided not to go with it because, once again, big money came in and spoke for them. And thank you for the super chat, Kashranada. That is why Nina and the squad are more detrimental than helpful. They profit and gain fame from sheep herding voters into a corrupted party. I hear you.